Your community is something that makes you different from everybody else around you. It's such an important asset that is underutilized. So how can you create experiences like that for your customers? Welcome to the August edition of the State of Retail. August absolutely has its own energy. I kind of feel like August, well, if you're looking at this on YouTube, and the one side of my hair is perfectly laid out and folded. I actually did nothing to it. The other side of my hair I actually worked on, and it kind of looks like a bit of a mess. And that's sometimes how August feels to me. Right? Because it's like there's this part of it that's calm and cool and collected, and then there's other part of it where you're just trying to get everything done that you can get done in the shortest, fastest amount of time as possible. You know, summer is winding down and school is picking up, and you're asking yourself, what now? Let me tell you, hear these words. Oh my goodness, don't make the mistake I did. You are not here to hustle harder. Nope. You are here to lead smarter. And that is what my theme is of our entire talk today. This is only for independent retailers who are ready to lead with purpose, meaning less hustle, less grind, and more mind, and with profit, looking at that bottom line, and with local impact. I think August is such a powerful month for that. Okay, so let's cover some of the bigger trends and shifts in the economy first. Consumer spending is actually pretty steady, and the 2025 projections are still showing some growth. Not explosive, but consistent. So that's good news. We certainly didn't know exactly what was going to happen, right? One thing to remember is that you should be paying attention to what your customers are showing up for. Keep your team focused on that relationship building, because for sure customers are being very selective about their shopping. And where you win in this is that you have connections with these people. That's why they will always default to shopping with you, because you have a connection with them. That relationship building is so important. A couple other economic pieces. The S&P hit some all-time highs, even though there was crazy tariff and all the geopolitical volatility. It's been crazy, right? Still, the S&P reached several new highs in the first quarter, and it's still looking pretty okay. That's right. That you can take that expert word to the bank. And tariffs. So the thing about tariffs is that what they call the effective tariff rates peaked at 27% and then declined to about 13.5% by quarter end. And what most people did, of course, was just pass the costs on to the consumers. You guys know that. You've seen that. And it certainly has influenced inflation and profit margins. That's why we keep telling our clients to make sure, and keep telling you to make sure that you are maintaining and keeping your initial markup. You want to be aiming for a 60% initial markup. You can't get it on everything. That's the average, right? So make sure you're aiming for that. It's so tempting as prices go up to decrease what your price is and think that you're doing your customer a favor. But it's actually the greatest disservice you can do your customer. Because if you don't have a solid, healthy bottom line, you aren't going to be there for your customer. You won't be able to. That's why you've got to maintain your profit margins, your initial markups. I think the worst part of tariffs was not knowing how it was going to impact. Now we know, and now we're dealing with it, and now we're moving on. Congratulations. This is a big step. There were so many unknowns about this, so many uncertainties, and actually no different than with COVID. In many ways, the uncertainty of it all was the hardest thing to deal with. Once we knew what was happening, we could adjust, we could pivot, we could take action, right? And that's what's happening now. And what's super important is making sure that you are keeping your stock lean and that you're responding. When I say respond, what I mean is that you know what your best sellers are and that you're refilling those. That's that you're carrying your best sellers deep to make sure that you don't run out of them. That's the really important thing right now. It continues to be essential. I guarantee that this is going to be essential through the rest of the year. Another thing that still matters a lot is in-store experiences. You know, we've been talking about experiential retail a lot. I'm sure you've heard it. But what I want you to realize is that I find that so many people hear that word experiential retail and you're thinking of some of these big, huge things that big brands are doing. But it doesn't have to be big events. It doesn't have to mean. It just means moments of connection. A team member offering style advice. And then just make that the event. For example, Kim has a fabulous store, fabulous female, 2 stores actually in Ohio. And she offers style advice, and her team, Allie, offers style advice to customers every single day. What I was suggesting to her is just call it a styling day. Styling, come in for styling Saturday. We're going to have some lemonade and we're going to be helping you style your new outfits. Do you have a dress that you'd like to just freshen up? Bring it in. We'll show you new accessories to put with it. It's what they do in her store every single weekend, but just give it a name. And that becomes the event. That becomes the connection, right? Or do some sort of quick in-store feature. If you have a maker store, can you teach a new stitch? Can you teach a new way to use a machine? Can you teach a new kind of craft? Have people come in for that. What I want you to do this month is plan at least one low lift experience this month, meaning low lift, meaning that it's not heavy. It's not like a big, huge thing. Think of like a styling event that like I talked about, or some sort of weekend tasting. Could you do a Prosecco tasting? Or I had a client, Grace, they're in Connecticut, and they sent out this email. The subject line was a summer cocktail worth gathering for. They said, introducing the Lemonade Rosé Spritz, a drink that feels like a slow summer day. Our Lemonade Rosé Spritz is citrusy, soft, and just sweet enough. Serve it when the weather is warm and the company's even better. And then they just said, featured at our happy hours event. Under a picture of it, they included this recipe. For 2 servings, it's 6 ounces of a dry rosé, 4 ounces of lemonade, a bit of sugar, some ice, and a splash of seltzer. How easy is that? How simple is that? But then they had people come in on that Saturday. I think it was Friday afternoon is when they came in. It can be so easy. You could do a lemonade bar. Come and join our lemonade bar where you just have lemonade and you have other things to put into lemonade. It's all about taking the things that you do already and just putting a name on it, right? That is a very powerful thing. Also remember that community is your competitive edge. What can you do in your neighborhood? What connections can you create in your neighborhood? What kind of local partnerships can you do that will help you stand out, where you can merge forces with another similar store or brand and create an offering to your customers? Could you do a pop-up? In fact, I had one yarn store that offered classes in a local brew pub. And then the brew pub came into their store to do beer tastings. Another client of ours, I believe it was Darn It Anyways, put together a pitch and stitch for their local minor league baseball game. And so what they did is that they got tickets and they created an event where you got some food and you got the tickets, and then everybody got to sit all together in an area and just knit and watch the game and be together. It's what people are craving. People want community. Your community is something that makes you different from everybody else around you. It's such an important asset that is underutilized. So how can you create experiences like that for your customers? And I'm saying that you should make some money on them. That pitch and stitch event was a moneymaker for them. It wasn't huge, but they made money on it. These are not nonprofit activities, but they're a way of creating community and creating a little extra cash at the same time. Also, one other surprising thing is resale. Resale can be quite a differentiator. I have seen that in-house resale and curated vintage are really trending, especially in apparel and accessories. And the beauty of it is that it supports both sustainability and margin opportunity. We had a maker store where the owner actually sold her own stash. What that means, if you're not a maker, is that she had accumulated quite a bit of raw materials, quite a bit of yarn in her life. It was just filling up her house. And so she said, you know what, I'm going to sell this in the store. She sold it at just a slight discount and said that it was her stash. People loved it. I had another clothing store where the owner and the team resold items that they had bought from the store. How clever is that? The store was Lucinda's in Wichita, Kansas, and they called it Vintage Lucinda's Items. People loved it. It's something different. It's something unusual. And you can talk about how it supports sustainability. It's really something that other people aren't doing and adds such value. So I want to talk about a Millie moment. I want to talk about how Millies lead and they don't wait for the perfect moment. So if any of these ideas sound interesting to you, but you're like, geez, how will I really do it? Done beats perfect. every single time. You know that's what we say all the time. Done beats perfect. Just jump in. August is slightly quieter before the rest of the months, before September, October, November, and December, right? Use this quieter time to make bold but doable moves. Right? Another fun thing to do is to feature another local vendor and tell their story. In fact, our client Lucinda's that I was talking about in Wichita, Kansas, they often swap gift certificates with other local stores to give out to their team or just to customers when they come in, right? You could also encourage them to do a pop-up in your store like I was suggesting before. Another great doable move is if you have some sale items left over, don't forget about the power of a dollar table or a dollar rack, meaning that you put a sign on a rack or a table that says everything here is less than $20. The beauty of it is that a person sees that sign and they're thinking, $20. Well, I have $20 to spend. And as they walk up to the rack or the table, they're already spending the money. So they're picking items up and they're like, this is for sure worth $20. I'm going to get this. As opposed to when a customer just sees a sale sign, they're like, let's see what's a good deal here. So the difference is that when they see the dollar amount, they've made the commitment already. I've got $20 to spend on something. I love this store. Let's see what they've got for me. That's the power of doing that. So take advantage of that and host some sort of mini experience like a styling Saturday that I talked about, or some sort of collaboration that reminds your customers why they love you and why they love their space. Friends, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. You're not just selling, right? You're setting the tone for what small retail looks like. You're leading. That's what you're doing. One other thing to keep in mind is there any foundational type of project you'd like to see happen before Q4? Because now is the time to create the space to do it. Now is the time to get it done before Labor Day, so it's off your plate and you've got that set up. What does that look like? If you need any help, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here for you. So what's one move you'll make this month to lead like the $1 million CEO you're becoming? Think about that. Take a deep breath in and out. You are becoming a multi-million dollar CEO. What's one move that you will boldly take that's different from what your competitors are doing, that sits well with your values, that allows you to set the tone for what retail can look like? Leave us a review. Let us know. Hit us up at our Facebook page, Richer Retailers. I'd love to know what it's going to be. Tell me. Share it, would you? We'd love to support you there. And if you want some more support throughout that move or into your next quarter, this is a fantastic time to book a 15-minute game plan call with Crystal. It is not a sales call. It is about talking to you about what it is you're doing, what it is you might need help with. She's got so much experience and is happy to guide you along the way. And if there's any way we can serve you, she'd be happy to answer any questions. Remember, you're not here to hustle harder. We're here to support you, to remind you to lead smarter. This is how long-term growth starts. One strategic step made with intention, backed by support, which gives you the strength and courage to make the next strategic step, right? It's one in front of the other. That's how you become that $1 million CEO. All right. One more thing I have to mention is that last month I talked about how chocolate and candles are selling like crazy, and that still is very true. I was talking to a client this morning, and I was saying that usually when the economy becomes uncertain, that lipstick sales increase. But what we're seeing is that people are buying chocolate and buying candles. So there's a trend I know that I can support. I'd love to know what your favorite one is. Please share. And the next month, State of Retail, I'll share some brand names because I'd love to know what's working for you. All right. Thank you very much, you guys. Know that you are astonishingly fabulous and you are loved. Happy retailing. Bye.